Should you jump into the world and get your hands dirty, or should you step back from it all for a life of quiet reflection? This isn't just some ancient philosophical question, it's a real dilemma we all kind of face, and it's the absolute heart of the conflict in chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna's answer? Well, it's not just philosophy, it's a total masterclass in spiritual psychology that is unbelievably relevant today. So it all kicks off with this very direct, very human question from Arjuna. He basically says to Krishna, look, you've praised renouncing action, and you've also praised performing action selflessly. I'm confused. Just tell me for certain which one is actually better for me. He's stuck between these two ideas that seem like total opposites, and he needs a straight answer. And that right there sets the stage for everything that's about to unfold. All right, so to really get to the bottom of this, here's our game plan. First, we're going to unpack Arjuna's dilemma. Then we'll get right to Krishna's decisive answer. From there, we'll take a deep dive into each path, selfless action and knowledge, before we get to the big reveal, how these two roads, which seem to go in opposite directions, actually lead to the exact same place. Okay, so what is really going on in Arjuna's head? What's the source of all this confusion? Well, he's staring down a classic paradox. Krishna has just laid out two paths that seem like they just can't both be right. See, in the chapters leading up to this, Krishna has talked up the path of knowledge, which involves renouncing worldly stuff. But then he also praises the path of selfless action, that's karma yoga, as this super powerful way to get to the same goal. So Arjuna is hearing about the greatness of both, and he's just stuck, paralyzed really. And for him, this isn't some academic debate. He needs to know which path is going to lead him to salvation. And Krishna, he doesn't beat around the bush. He comes back with a really direct, crystal clear answer that becomes the central teaching of this entire chapter. And here it is. Krishna says, yes, both paths, the path of knowledge, which is called Sankhya Yoga, and the path of action, Karma Yoga, both of them will get you to salvation. But, and this is the important part, he says, of the two, Karma Yoga, the path of selfless action is better. Now that is the crucial takeaway right there. While both roads lead to the top of the mountain, Krishna is basically recommending one specific trail over the other. So let's break that down. Let's put these two side by side. Sankhya Yoga, the path of knowledge, it's an intellectual journey. It's about using your mind to realize that you are not the doer. On the other hand, Karma Yoga, the path of action, is a practical, hands-on method of working in the world without getting hung up on the results. And as Krishna points out, trying to just jump straight into the mindset of Sankhya Yoga is incredibly tough. That's what makes Karma Yoga the more accessible and, the recommended path for most of us. So, since Krishna gives the gold star to the path of selfless action, let's really explore what Karma Yoga is all about. What does this actually look like in day-to-day life? At its core, Karma Yoga is the art of acting without being attached to the outcome. The whole idea is to do what you have to do for the good of everyone, with zero selfish desire for some specific reward. So every single action, whether it's big or small, becomes a tool to purify your mind and detach from what your ego is demanding. It's not about changing what you do, it's about changing the motive behind what you do. And the text gives us this amazing description of a true Karma Yogi. They have a pure mind. They've got their body under control, their senses are in check. But here's the part that changes everything. A true Karma Yogi sees their own self in all other beings. Now think about that. That isn't just a nice thought, it's the very foundation of real empathy and service. When you genuinely see others as yourself, acting selflessly just becomes second nature. And this next verse, it has this perfect analogy. It says, he who performs actions, offering them to God and abandoning attachment, is not tainted by sin, just as a lotus leaf is not tainted by water. I mean, how beautiful is that? A lotus leaf sits in the water, it's nourished by the water, but the water just beads up and rolls right off and never gets wet. In the exact same way, a Karma Yogi lives and acts in the world, but the consequences, that karmic residue, it never sticks to them. Okay, now to really get the whole picture, we need to explore that other path Arjuna was asking about, Sankhya Yoga. This is the more abstract, philosophical path of knowledge. The main idea of Sankhya Yoga is this really profound shift in your identity. It's the deep, gut-level realization that your true self, well, it doesn't do anything at all. All the actions, from your breathing to your thinking, they're all carried out by the forces of nature, or prakriti. Your true self is just the silent, unchanging witness to this whole show. So the Gita describes the mindset of someone who has realized this, a knower of the truth. This person operates from the deep conviction that I do nothing at all. So even when they're seeing and hearing and acting in the world, they understand that it's just their senses interacting with sense objects. They've mentally unplugged from that feeling of being the one in charge, recognizing that they are totally separate from the machinery of the body and mind. This brings up a really important question. Why is this path so hard? Well, the Gita tells us why. This kind of mental renunciation is incredibly difficult to pull off without first practicing karma yoga. Why? Because our attachment to being the doer is so deep. Trying to just sever that connection with your intellect alone, it's like trying to perform surgery on yourself with dirty tools. Karma yoga is what cleans the tools. It purifies the mind, which then makes the huge realization of Sankhya yoga even possible. All right, and this is where it all comes together. This is the grand synthesis of the whole chapter, where Krishna just completely resolves Arjuna's dilemma by showing him a much deeper truth about these two paths that seemed so different. So after all this, you might still be asking, are we really dealing with two totally separate things here? Krishna's answer to that is a big, resounding no. In this really powerful verse, Krishna says that the supreme state you reach by following the path of knowledge is the exact same state you reach by following the path of action. And then he says this, he who sees that Sankhya yoga and Karma yoga are one, he sees truly. Both paths lead to the exact same place, liberation. To see them as one, well, that's to see the truth. And he really drives this point home. He says that only the ignorant, not the wise, talk about these two paths as if they're different. I mean, just think about that for a second. He's saying that to see a conflict between action and knowledge is actually a sign of ignorance. The wise, they understand that if you truly master one of these paths, you automatically get all the benefits of the other one too. So here's how you can think of the whole process. It's like a sequence. You start with karma yoga. You perform selfless action to purify your mind of all that ego and attachment. Then, that purification process prepares you for the wisdom of Sankhya yoga, that deep realization that you are not the doer. And these two steps, they come together at the same ultimate goal, liberation, a state of complete and everlasting peace. So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. The enemy isn't action. The real problem is attachment. It doesn't matter how you get rid of it, whether you dissolve that attachment by offering the fruits of your work to something bigger than yourself, or by realizing through deep wisdom that you were never the one acting in the first place, the result is exactly the same. The whole point is to break the bonds of the ego. And that really just leaves us with one final thought to reflect on. As you go about your own life, which of these two approaches makes more sense as a tool for your own growth? Is it the path of selfless, detached action out in the world, or is it the path of quiet, discerning knowledge? The real beauty of the Gita is that it tells us, in the end, both paths will lead you to the very same truth.